Really, what's afoot at our organization is a revolution of wholeness, which I believe is one of the unifying forces of everybody here today. My sense is that everyone here has not only been participating in a revolution of wholeness, but we have been, even if we're only just meeting today for the first time, we have been co-sourcing this for quite some time. And this is the nexus point where, individually, on a community level, on a planetary level, this is the nexus point where the individual organization becomes a superconductor for transformation. This is the nexus point where the point of origin for how we create together shifts mightily. And if you're a Star Trek fan, do I have any Star Trek fans? I mean, did you ever watch Star Trek and think, oh, this beautiful society that leaves human potential first? Nobody ever mentions money. How did that ever happen? Well, perhaps it started with this revolution of wholeness. So my invitation today, my curiosity and my invitation today is that we might stand in this field of potential together and see what comes of that amplification point. We've been doing it, but I have not bumped into such a group of people so available to wholly embrace it and explode it together. So that is my wish for today.
Some of the kind of best practices are of the businesses like Lori's and Geo's that is working, where you see it. Any input on that?
Yeah, so certainly starting with consciousness, that's what I really love about these guys. That's the thing that you seem to have at the heart of everything that you do. The other really big thing for me is I think that the idea of individual authority has become a bit of a taboo in the conversation about progressive business, and that's with good reason, because we all experienced the very worst of the industrial age command and control, top-down authority model of leadership. And so what's happened since then is we've said, well, we have to have power to groups. It's all about we and us. It's not about I and me. But there was a really important and lovely baby that we threw out with that bathwater. And that is the right and the necessity for individuals to first of all think, what am I here to do? What's my personal calling in life? And yes, groups are vitally important, but I think it always starts with individuals, because we're not all the same. I don't believe there's any such thing as a shared purpose or a shared vision. There are certainly things that we have in common. There are certainly alignments, but actually starting with ourselves and not being afraid of that, but finding ways to express and live our calling in life without having to turn into a top-down dictator, making it leadership by followership. So I'm attracted to come here today because I think Solera's vision for a genius world with 7 billion geniuses, that sounds pretty great to me, and I'm really happy that that's your vision, and I want to help that to happen. And I have my own vision, and I'm sure all of you guys too. So I think, yes, standing in your own individual creative authority to forge a path of discovering and living your own calling in life, and then finding ways to consciously and compassionately collaborate with other people so that we all support one another.
What radio station do you want to tune into? You can listen, and there are hundreds of terrible, horrible stories going on, and then there are really miraculous, wondrous things going on, and it's the discipline on who we choose to be. So here we are 10 years into our play in graphic and our experimentation with everything around graphic, and what is business consciousness, and et cetera, and the work is people. There's no such thing as business consciousness, from my perspective. There's a consciousness of every single person who's working within any group or organization. So how do you support that? And how do you get some cohesive vision would be the word that I would use. As you point out, there's not really going to ever be a collective vision where everyone's going to say, that's mine, because we all have our own, but something cohesive that will work together is really what we're reaching for. So evolving individuals, and when that really comes down, and when I say humble, one of the things that I've learned in that space is, off and on during that time, I've been very frustrated. I have my, what the heck is wrong with this person, or why am I dealing with this again, or do I really have to be down in the trenches yet again with some crazy little HR thing because some can't show up to work on time, and all of these, whatever it might be, right? And then I realized very humbly that the work is me. I'm still coming back to my own consciousness, my own awareness, my own choices, which is frustrating. It would be a whole lot easier to just have it be somebody else's problem, and I can help them fix it. Right? I think for a lot of coaches in the room, you might want to listen to that. So we are always coaching ourselves, and I think compassion is something that I have a kind of a core tendency towards compassion and kindness and generosity inherently anyway, but it's even more alive in business. And recently I was on a road trip in California for a couple of weeks visiting some of our very large accounts, and I was telling a few people over dinner last night, a very interesting experience with that. And when I'm on that road, I am president and CTO of Graphic Dimensions to those big players, and these are the Costco's of the world and other big companies that we engage. And they don't really see this side of me, but that's their problem, right? That's not my problem, but I choose to show up as who I am. And it's just interesting to watch how people are becoming more available. I was sitting in a couple of different companies in board meetings with senior people, VPs, executives, even CEOs, and they just started asking questions about consciousness. I did not bring that on my business card. I did not lead with that conversation. And I think people are just a little bit hungry. And I don't think that the only difference between you all and us sitting here and everyone else engaged in this is a little bit maybe more practice, a little bit more skill, and perhaps some courage and some sense of permission.